What's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining in to today's live stream. I am just busy away here at work. I'm operating FT8 at the same time here in the shack, so I thought I would bring all of you along with me since 10 meters is open. 10 meters was wide open last night, December 19th. It was crazy. East Coast, West Coast, some DX in there. I mean, stations were just blazing through 5-9, 20 over. So it's kind of carried over into today, so that's why I'm operating 10 meter FT8. I've gotten quite a bit of contacts this morning already, but let's try to make some more. Definitely getting a lot of South America, Uruguay, Paraguay, Chile, some Brazil coming through. Also a lot of Costa Rica, Belize, Central America into the Caribbean. So if you have questions on FT8, even after this live stream is done, drop a comment down below and I'll do my best to answer. So just come, hang out, say hello, and let's do a little 10 meter FT8 here. What's going on, everybody? Thanks for stopping by. Again, doing a little 10 meter FT8 here this afternoon from Minnesota. 10 meters is open, so we are taking advantage here of seeing what we can come up with out there. I've got a ton of contacts already, but we're going to try to make some more. We're going to go after this Puerto Rican station right here. So if you have any questions about FT8, drop me a comment, let me know. But yeah, I mean, 10 meters has been awesome. I haven't seen 10 meters as open as it was yesterday in a long time. I'm talking a long time. 10 meters in the Midwest yesterday was like rocking hard, which was awesome. But yeah, tons of South America today. Was able to nab Africa earlier as well. The northwest coast of Africa near Mali. It was great. I said always nice to get over that direction. That was a little bit closer to gray line for them, but that was awesome. So if you've never done FT8, or I said maybe you're new to it, and if you have a question, drop it down below. And if you're the first thing you should know when you take a look at the screen is the map, right? Which is not a normal FT8 feature. That is actually the Grid Tracker program. And Grid Tracker is probably my most recommended software for anybody that's doing FT8. It's a must-have if you do it. It's the ability to visualize what's actually occurring and not just giving you the list that you see on the right-hand side of the screen, which is phenomenal. So if you've never used Grid Tracker for your FT8, I highly, highly recommend you use it. I can't go back to not using it. Like if I just lost it and didn't have access anymore, I don't know what I would do because it's such a phenomenal program. It's hard to not use it at all. Hopefully you guys are on the radio for this opening. I said 10 meters this morning was just starting to come on around 9 a.m. and has just kept getting better and better and better throughout the day. So let me know if you're on the radio today. I'll be curious to know. I said I'm on FT8 quite a bit. If you've never had the chance to make contact with me there, most days when I'm working here in the shack, I work from home, I have it going on in the background. That way it's just there doing its thing. So it's really great, in terms of you can do other things and do FTA at the same time, which is really nice. Probably another reason why so many people don't like it. But I said it's phenomenal. I said I'm probably using FT8, God, I don't know, probably 12 hours a day, every day, or almost every day. I have, what has it been now? I got my shack online November, just before Thanksgiving last year, late November 2020. I think I'm up to almost 19,000 contacts. I'd say 85 to 90% of that 19,000 is FT8 contacts. So it definitely fills up the logbook, that's for sure. So you can see by taking a look at the map right now, we have, I said some openings. It looks like the West Coast is coming in, Utah, down into Cuba, Puerto Rico. Looks like some Illinois, Missouri also coming in there. We'll get a little bit closer here. Let's see if we can bring up those state lines. There we go, a little bit clearer there. So that's kind of what's coming in right now from a U.S. perspective. I said my screen's kind of in the way. But yeah, it was just wild this morning and yesterday. Yesterday was crazy. Anybody get in on that 10-meter action yesterday? Drop me a comment and let me know. It was crazy yesterday. I was on for about an hour and a half, and it was just absolutely nuts. All right, we're not doing so great here with this call, so we're going to switch it up, see who else we're hearing. We're also going to flip over to the odds as well. Like I said, you're just seeing my receive frequency screen. So I said if you see the bars on the right side of the screen turn red, that means we're actually making contact with somebody. So let's see who we hear here in the next decode. Every FT8 back and forth takes 15 seconds. So every 15 seconds is between transmit and receive. All right, let's pick up W7CT. And notice how the red line appears on the screen. I said the red line is like if I'm trying to call a particular station, that's when that red line comes into play. And if you notice, there's also green boxes and blue boxes on the screen. Where that comes from is a blue box means I'm hearing that. It's coming through my receive, but somebody else is talking to somebody else. It's another conversation or contact occurring. The green boxes that appear on the screen are people calling CQ that I am hearing, which is great. All right, hold on one second. Give me 1 sec. All right, I'm back. That was a phone call coming in. So we were talking about the blue versus green boxes again. Green boxes are stations that I am hearing that are calling CQ. Blue boxes are what I'm hearing, but it's two other people making a contact, but I'm still hearing it from an RF perspective. So that's the differences there in those boxes. And we're not having much luck right now. It's interesting, you know, at about noon today, Central Time, FT8 was rolling. Now, not so much. It's getting a little slow, but I did make a ton of contacts. I've actually used up a lot of the people that I have been hearing throughout the day. Like, I've already made contact with them. So there's no sense in making contact again with them. You know what I mean? So it's kind of tricky in that sense. But I said, if you're in there, go ahead and feel free to jump into chat, say hello. It's always nice to talk to you guys in chat when you're hanging out. Let me know what you're up to. Vincent, FT8 QSO today, awesome, with a simple dipole 50 watts. Awesome, yeah, get on 10 meters. Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of FT8, right? It doesn't take a ton, especially on 10 meters. You don't need a ton of height either on 10 meters, which is phenomenal. And yeah, it's been great. You know, I'm running about 90 to 95 watts here on FT8 right now. And here we're picking up a contact. You'll see it's turning red there over on the side for those folks that are new. PY1IO is coming in at about -2 dB. He's hearing me at -14. So I'm replying back to him there with the -2 for his report. So I should see him come back in red on the next go around here. It should be decoding now. See if we see him. No, he did not hear me, or I did not hear him. So it's going to try again, send him his report of -2. But yeah, 10 meters has been great. Including over into France, by the way. I was hearing France on 10 meters earlier this morning, so it's been pretty awesome. A lot of KP4s out there. Yeah, Puerto Rico's been on a ton. All right, let's see. Uh-oh. I see a familiar call sign out there. I see Kelvin out there at +5, no less. It's a nice signal from Kelvin there. He's probably about 20 miles away from me here in Minnesota, N0MQL. So he's out there doing a little FT8 fun today. All right, we'll try to pick up this Uruguay station, CX3DDO. Let's see if we can pick him up, if he can hear us. I did make a few contacts to Uruguay earlier. We'll just pull this map out. There we go. That way you get a little bit better sense of where we're going down to. So the station that we're trying to contact is way, way, way down here, right in this area. I believe I have the mouse turned on so you can see it. But this is where we're trying to get to right here with this Uruguay station. Like I said, I had a few this morning. I'm hoping we can make it work again. What's going on, Tom? Thanks for stopping by to say hi. Happy holidays. Work Sydney. 20-meter phone. Awesome. 85 watts. Yeah, I said the SFI has been fantastic, right? It's been nice to see the bands really come alive, especially 12 and 10. It's been really, really nice. We're trying for CX3DDO. I said I probably rolled through about 40 or 50 contacts this morning as I was doing my work this morning, but it looks to be a little bit tougher here this afternoon. Signals are down to about S5. Might have to change bands. We're going to keep hammering 10 though, as long as it's open. All right, we're going to qual ourselves as DX here to Kelvin. He's coming in at +3 now, so we're going to call N0MQL. So I'm assuming that Kelvin's listening to the live stream here. We're going to call Kelvin and say hello to him. Let's see if he hears us. He should. On the old ground wave, should work just fine. Oh, +8. Kelvin coming through with a solid report. Awesome. I'll take a +8 across town. I'll take it. Oh, let's see. I got to come back a second time to Kelvin with his +3. Heard a lot of Cuba today, too. They've been really, really, I said, active in there. All right, let's try for a second time here with Kelvin. Oh, Kelvin, where'd you go? I all of a sudden lost Kelvin. You'll see that again. It's trying to answer him here at +3, 3 times in a row. After he originally came back with the +8. I'm surprised that we're having issues there. Oh, Kelvin disappeared on me. We'll give her one more time out here before we drop it with Kelvin. We'll give a good 5 tries. We'll call that a college try. Have you guys out there been able to get on 10 meters yesterday or today? Let me know in the comments. I was totally going to be tuned into football yesterday, and then all of a sudden I saw a message from somebody saying that 10 meters was like crazy open. And then I literally sprinted to the shack. And it was ridiculous how many contacts I made in just a little bit, too. Kelvin, where'd you go? Let's see here. All right. Uruguay's coming in strong again, +3 from CX3 DDO. We're going to flip over there again, try it. And sometimes, when you get stuck like this, where all of a sudden you're not really getting much success and you just seem to be, striking out constantly, one of the things you can try is to change where you're TXing at here on this, this is essentially the scope, right? Green bar is where you're receiving. Red, of course, is where you're transmitting. Sometimes just moving to another area, don't forget that what you're seeing here is not what is clear to you, because you have to listen to the other side of the FT8, cycle. But moving to a place, because you might be getting covered up by somebody that you can't even hear to other people. That happens quite often. I'm actually going to move this and reinitiate this contact and see if we can make it work. Hasn't been open for you guys. Interesting. And PD9, help me. Where in the world are you? I'm curious. 10 meters, this is typically, at least for us in the northern hemisphere, the winter peak of the sporadic E season for 10 meter. Although what happened yesterday, and certainly even today, is not sporadic E. This is, I would say, probably a genuine opening just from SFI, because the paths are much longer than what you typically see with sporadic E. But where are you located? The Netherlands. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to say, I haven't seen a lot of Netherlands in terms of FT8, in terms of what I've been doing. So, yeah, it's the higher latitudes, man, they really get burned when it comes to openings on 10. They take a look at, like, the state of Florida in the southeast part of the United States. They have, like, 10-meter openings, like, every day. It's, like, always open, right? Just because it's a different story as you go further south toward the equator. We're kind of in the same boat. It's a lot tougher to get 10-meter open up here, but when it does, it's a lot of fun. 15 meters, nice. Thailand, Indonesia, India. Oh, man, you got all the ones that I want to get. Those are all the ones that I'm on the hunt for. I would love to get some more. I think I actually still need India. I do have Indonesia. I think I have one Thailand. I need more of them, though, I'm sure I got probably like the one super station in those places that heard me with their massive antennas. Oh, it's Holland, as most people call it. Yes. Yeah, I know where the Netherlands are at. Yeah, I said it's just tough. I wish I lived further south, because I would have way more fun on 10 meters. Because that's the beauty of 10, right? Like, you don't have to have an antenna at 70 feet to work DX on 10 meters. You can have a much lower antenna and have a ton of fun. So if you have a compromised antenna, or your antenna is not the best, it's way more fun. Than doing, other types of bands where you're doing more local comms, because your antenna is basically an NVIS antenna. I did put out a tweet yesterday. If you follow me on Twitter, at K0LWC, it seemed to resonate with a lot of people. I don't know if any of you had seen that tweet. Hopefully you did. It was, I don't know, I find it comical. It was talking about FT8 and the people that don't like it. It was a very simple tweet. It was just like, I operate FT8. I don't care how it makes you feel. It's radio. Get over it. From the people that don't like FT8 for whatever reason, which I just don't get it. I don't know why they feel that way. It just drives me nuts that is the case. But that is a thing. People do feel that way for some reason. I don't know why. What's going on, AJ? Welcome in. Good afternoon. Doing a little FT8 here while working. Thought I would take you guys along for the ride, since 10 meters is open today, which has been great. Just like it was yesterday, it was open, which was fantastic. So again, if you have any FT8 questions, drop a comment, or just let me know what you're doing today. Maybe you're at work today, like I am, but I said I spend the majority of my life in the shack, so spending life in the shack, whether it's work or having radio going on in the background, it's all one and the same. Working on a PowerPoint presentation as we speak, actually. Illinois to California FM. Holy smokes. Back in 2000. That must have been a thrill. Illinois to California on FM. Man. I have yet to have one of those crazy scenarios. I've had some fun contacts, but not not on FM at that distance. That's crazy, man. My most memorable contact was actually on 10 meters. It was a day kind of similar to today, where like there were some conditions, but they were very, very, very weak. And we had put up an antenna at the second highest point in the state of Wisconsin. It was a portable operation before POTA was even a thing. This was years and years and years ago. We put a fiberglass vertical on top of a wooden tower at about 2,100 feet above sea level in Wisconsin, the second highest point. And this would have been by far the highest ham radio antenna in the state of Wisconsin, probably in the Midwest at that moment, right? Put it up there, operating off a car battery, 100 watts, and we were on sideband, and we made contact with essentially like Patagonia area, like the southern tip of South America and Chile. And it was one of those contacts where like you're screaming into the microphone, although that's not going to help you cut through the noise, where you're excited, you're just barely hearing them, they're just barely hearing you, and you just get enough to make the contact. Again, 10-meter portable fiberglass antenna strapped with bungee cords to the top of this wooden tower. That was my most memorable contact. Now seeing Northwest Africa, I don't know how to pronounce it properly probably, but Mauritania, coming in 5T5PA, now coming in here on 10 meter. I did actually pick him up earlier today, so I don't need him now, but I am hearing him again. What do you say to fellow hams that say that FT8 is boring? I don't think it's boring at all. It's a different experience than doing voice or any other mode for that matter. But what I think is great about FT8 for any ham, but especially newer hams, is it's a phenomenal learning tool to understand how propagation changes and shifts minute to minute, hour to hour, day to day, band to band. When you start using some of the other tools like PSK Reporter, where you can actually see where you're being heard in real time, things like that, it's a phenomenal learning tool. You can't get that with doing sideband, for example. Although there are spotter networks for CW, but it's just a great weak signal mode. Like I said, some people like it, some people absolutely hate it. And actually, I found a few rare people that are indifferent, that are like, hey, you know, I'm not into it, but it's all right, it's cool. You know, they're like, whatever. Those people seem to be few and far in between. Yeah, FT8 will definitely get you some awards, that's for sure. I mean, again, the bulk of my last 13 months of operating has all been FT8, and I think I'm at 131 countries. DXCC mixed, and Worked All States was done a long time ago. That didn't take very long. Now you're talking about regions I could never get. Oh, so that's a toughie. Let's see here. Yeah, I said Chile. Is that tough for you? Yeah, FT8 phone, Phil, awesome. Yeah, I said I'm due. You'll find me on FT8 phone. I do CW on occasion, although not a ton. I'll do some other digital modes as well. I'll do like a PSK 31, things like that. Well, AJ, I'll tell you, the data shows that that is the case for a lot of people, and that's not really surprising. And what I mean by that is, you know, so for so many years, 2018, 19, you would hear nothing but grumbling of people saying FT8 is killing ham radio, it's killing the bands, everyone's doing FT8 and phone is dead. But when you take a look, I actually just made this tweet yesterday. Go look at my Twitter account. I posted the stats for it from Clublog. You see SSB has been rapidly rising from 2019 to 2020 and certainly 2021. With the band conditions improving, people are migrating back to SSB, which is exactly what I always said would happen. That's what I always thought. I was like, people are on FT8 because the band conditions were awful for like the gully of the cycle, right? Now with the conditions coming back, people are migrating back to phone, which is natural. So, but there's always the alarmists out there that were like, oh my God, FT8 is literally going to kill ham radio. It's all going to become computers talking to one another, which I never believed. And again, the data is bearing that out. It's just not going to happen. All my contacts yesterday were 10-meter phone. They were great. So South America is your toughie, Tom. Okay, that one's difficult for you. Well, I said you're getting all the places that I can't get because of your geography. I said I can get into some of those places: Indonesia, India, China, Mongolia, Siberia. It does happen. It's just not a ton. And when I do, it's like -20, -23. It's right on the edge. And certainly haven't heard a ton of that for phone. I was hearing China. It was this morning on 40 meters, and I just took a quick look. Early morning 40 into China. That's always fun. It's just, parts of Asia, the Middle East are just difficult for me. Anywhere in around the Indian Ocean is difficult. I need to get a better higher gain antenna, and that's going to help a ton. All right, so now we're calling XE2BCS. That's a station out of Mexico. He was quite strong, although it seems like he may have faded out. And this is what I'm talking about in terms of what you learn. Propagation shift. Yeah, I was going to say, it seems like propagation's all over the place. It's not consistent enough to where, like, I can just complete a contact, which is when things get frustrating at times. Let's see. Let me flip over to the other side here. Yeah, conditions were just like they're wobbling up and down right now. Let me go to the other side and see. I'm on evens now. So if you're looking and wondering where I'm at, I'm on the evens as of now. Again, we're on 10 meters. Let me go ahead and halt my TX and listen here. But yeah, this morning was a lot more stable than it is right now. It's gotten more unstable through the afternoon hours. I'm sure part of it also is that most of what I'm hearing is DX, which is fine. It's just when I was working yesterday, it was all West Coast U.S. stuff. It was mostly E-skip. All right, let's see what we got. All right, let's go for WB5XX and see if we can't pick him up. And that is down south from the looks of the map here. Looks like he is going to be in southern Arkansas or northern Louisiana. That's a toughie for me, too. I don't know what it is. I must have a null in my antenna that direction because Arkansas for me is really rough, really difficult. Only portable, Tom. Well, I said, putting in the work. Oh, there's a New Zealand station right there, ZL1VAH. Z Lima 1. New Zealand coming through. -19. That's awesome. That's the first New Zealand station I've heard so far. Kentucky, that one for me, 40 meters can probably take care of it usually. I know I've gotten them. Hey, all right, there we go. New Zealand came back with a -17. Let's see if we can make this one work. That'll be a good one for the log. And you're in Illinois. Well, I said if you're looking for Iowa, Wisconsin, or Indiana, well, that's easy. If you're in Illinois, that's pretty much going to be 40 and 80, 75, 80, 40. I mean, that's going to be your bread and butter during the daytime to pick up those states. I have a friend of mine in Omaha, Nebraska, and of course I'm here in the Twin Cities of Minnesota, and we talk 40-meter daytime all the time, and he's like 5'9", 15 over when we're talking. So you can see here on the screen that where I'm transmitting in the red bar, the green bar is where I'm receiving. Take a closer look here. So he's in the far left over here, just outside of your view on the screen with his -17. Uh-oh, I'm hoping he's not fading away. Now I'm not hearing him try to answer back. It may have just had a brief moment where we had a chance to make contact, and now he might fade away on us. Hopefully that's not the case. I'm transmitting here. This is where I'm at. Again, what you see down here is not me. This is somebody else on the other side of that slot for FT8. Let's see if he comes back. Come on, come on. Nothing again. I'm afraid I bet you we're not going to get him. That's kind of how it's been now in the afternoon. It's just been like you hear somebody and they fade away. You hear somebody and they fade away before you can make it complete. Oh yeah, if you're near the ocean, boy, you got salt water, you got a perfect takeoff, nothing in your way. I mean, that is the beauty, I said, of being on the coast. There's no question about that. Oh, there he is again, but let's try it again. I'm going to restart it completely. He's coming in minus 15 now. I'd like to get New Zealand. I don't think I've gotten him on a 10 meters yet. I don't think. I've gotten him on 40. I've gotten him on 20. I think I've got him on 15, but I don't think I got him on 10 yet, or 12. I didn't answer again. This is tough. This morning was, for 2 hours, was much more stable than it is now. Also might try moving, as I told you guys earlier. If you're having problems like this, sometimes just moving. I might try to go to 500. And let me re-click and reestablish this here. But move my transmit location, again, because he may be hearing somebody over the top of me or nearby that's splattering over my signal. I don't realize that because I don't even hear that signal because it's like something that I can't pick up, but he's picking it up. So sometimes just making that jump and moving where you're transmitting can make all the difference. Yeah, I said this is the great learning part. Like, I mean, think about like the contact that we're trying to do, right? New Zealand and Minnesota here. I couldn't even successfully do this given what I'm seeing on voice. They wouldn't hear me, I wouldn't hear them on voice. But there is conditions between us, but for brief moments back and forth, and I can watch their signal fade and come back. Again, I would never hear them on SSB. It would just be like, oh, it's not open. It is, just not for phone, because it takes a much better level of propagation to actually make contact on SSB, where it takes a much lower threshold of conditions to make contact on CW or FT8, things like that. All right, Tom, off to bed. Yeah, again, have a great holiday, Tom. Thanks for stopping by to say hello. Always appreciate when you come in. Yeah, Phil, I agree. It's a lot like fishing. It is a lot like fishing. Yeah, you can even see the scope starting to change a little bit and get a little bit weaker. Here's somebody local to me, EN34. This is just 1 grid square away, so this is going to be on ground wave. I'm still not sure what happened to Kelvin. I can't believe Kelvin ghosted us on the live stream. Take a look at what's going on here. All right. Kelvin was just tweeting to me. Okay. Maybe he's got an answer for us of what happened there. Yeah, New Zealand looks like it completely faded out. You can't see it on your screen because you're missing just a little bit of it on my graph here, but what was New Zealand's location has faded away completely. So again, that condition came in for a couple minutes and now it's gone. And it's closed up again. That would have been a cool one to have, though. So again, if you have questions about FT8, if you have criticism about FT8 that you want to launch, please feel free in the comments. That's what we're doing today, just hanging out and doing some FT8, making some contacts here as I work away. All right, plus 19. Boy, I sure hope we complete this one. If I'm plus 19 and it doesn't work, we got bigger problems. There's the Roger 73. There's my 73, and that is a completed contact. Very nice. Maybe, Tom. I don't know. I don't know what happened to him. He was there, and he's just gone. But AE0N comes through with the win there. Although his time fluctuated wildly, 0.1 to 0.9. That's another thing to keep in mind. If you're doing FT8 and you're having real problems, pay attention to your DT, which is right here where it says 0.1 and then 0.9. When you're looking at the decoded signals, you want the majority of those signals to be 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, perhaps even 0.4. Ideally, a half a second, 0.5 or less is what you want. If you start getting up to 0.5 to 1 second of difference in synchronization, it's going to be really difficult to impossible to complete that contact. So what that means is if you're using FT8, making sure your computer's time is properly synced to a time server is very critical. A lot of people that are new don't know that or forget it. I usually sync up my clock a few times a week, especially if I'm like really hot and heavy, conditions are good. I'm going to go out there and really try to mow through some contacts. I will first run a software program, click sync. It takes literally 3 seconds. Click sync, done, click close, and it's over with before I jump on and start actually making contacts. Here's Alaska, K0LWC, up north in Alaska. Let's see if we can pick them up. Take a look at where that grid box is. There it is up there in Alaska. But yeah, making sure your clock is synced is important. A lot of people forget that, or it's just one of those newbie things. People in the chat that you don't see on other ham channels. Ah, okay. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, AJ. I don't know how to take that. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. Good DX. Appreciate it. Hopefully you're on the air wherever you're at. SV1 SPJ. Appreciate you stopping by to say hi. I want to see if we can work this Alaska. I've gotten Alaska across a number of bands. I don't think I have them yet on 10 meters. I think this might be my first Alaska on 10 if we can make it work. All right, looks like they're calling and answering somebody else. They're up in central Alaska, farther north than where most of the cities are located. Let's see. Yeah, so they're up in, what are we at? BP 64. So this is a little bit further north than Anchorage. Come back to there. There we go. There you go. You can see you're still trying to make it happen. I did not see very little. I got a little bit into Spain and France this morning on 10, but it was pretty weak. So it wasn't great, Ian. There was some, but not much. It's been mostly north-south propagation, South America for us here in the northern U.S. Come on, Alaska. They're still there. Now, notice how their clock is 0.8, 0.9. Different. So they also, that's not them. K6FA is the one whose clock's out of sync. Alaska looks to be all right. Yeah, I've done that before. I can remember listening to 10 meter FM and listen for openings. Absolutely. North Pole is the suburb of Anchorage. I think suburbs up there take a different meaning if you have to take a plane to get to your suburb. I have some friends up in Alaska, man. It's a different kind of animal up there. It's a whole different lifestyle. Especially this time of year. It's brutal, cold, dark. I don't know if I can handle it. And this comes from someone in Minnesota. I think the sun thing would kill me. I don't get enough of it here as it is. Here's another local KD0IRF. Don't know this person, but it's another EN34, so this would be ground wave here. We'll wait for Alaska to come back in as well. But yeah, are you guys using Grid Tracker out there? Have you tried it? I'm curious to... it seems to be fairly prolific, pretty popular. There's KD0IRF returning here with a +3. And Mexico calling Vermont. There you go. There's something you don't see every day. I guess he needs worked all states Vermont from Mexico. That's awesome, Ian, that you have. I said it's a must for me. I can't imagine not having it. All right, there's the Roger 73. Got that one in the book locally. I'll take it. Oh, yeah. My friends took screenshots of their FT8 up there when they come on the band. I mean, it's like you just stack them up, and they just have to roll through them. It's crazy. But you would think that, like, Alaska would be a really good place to be for HF, but it's actually not. Here's why. I didn't know this until I talked to them up there. You know, they obviously get a lot of, impact from the solar storms that come through, and they get them a lot more often. So when those happen, they've just completely got a radio blackout. So there's a lot of times that when there's high periods of solar activity, they just are on an HF blackout. They can't use the radio. Nothing works. And I was like, oh, yeah, I never thought about that. And they go, it's really crummy when it happens, and it can take a day or 2 or 3 before it comes back. And again, it just happens with more frequency. Your first FT8 over the weekend. All right, Dallas. Tell us what happened. Were you out portable? Were you at home? What band were you on? Give us a story about your first FT8 experience. And that V31DL, I'm seeing him come up. You can't see him here. He's a frequent flyer of Victor 31 Delta Lima. I'm fairly certain is one of those rentable superstations down there in Belize, if I'm not mistaken. All right, Randy, good to see you. Thanks for popping in. Yeah, Grid Tracker is great. I said it's a must-have. Like I said, FT8, when I got Grid Tracker to be able to visualize what's happening, just completely changed everything for me. I mean, it just makes it so much more enjoyable to actually be able to see what's going on, not to mention track the grid squares if you're into that, track DXCC and worked all states, and I said I just liked the visual nature of it compared to the original program. All right, we got WM6Y. Yeah, I said yesterday on 10 meters was a ton of West Coast. It was Oregon, Washington, California, Nevada. It was like just booming in 20 over. It was crazy stuff. We're getting a little bit more of that West Coast stuff, which I assume will pick up here as we get more towards sunset in the next few hours. All right, let's try to pick up Puerto Rico here. Ah, okay. And from the EU, Ian, very good. The band in the EU, 7,000 to 72. After 72, we have some super strong AM stations. You do sometimes get it. An earthquake in the South Oregon coast. Boy, there's been a lot of those. I've been talking to my friends that live up in the Northwest, and there's been quite a few going on out there in the Pacific, I believe, Randy. Yeah, you'll get stations up there. I said our allocation up that high, we're secondary. You'll occasionally get it, but not a ton. I might see 1 or 2 a night that are from 72 to 73. There's plenty of space, though, still for phone operation up there. I don't find it to be too annoying. But, yeah, you will get some strong AM shortwave stations in there. But for us, at least in my experience, a couple, they take up their space, and there's still plenty of room up there. Oh, 991A in Minnesota. All right, what part of Minnesota? 40 meter with a station in Kentucky. All right, awesome. Well, congratulations on that, Dallas. That's awesome. And what was the antenna you had at your place there? And again, I'm curious to what part in Minnesota you're at. Because you may or may not know that I am in Minnesota. I'm in the Twin Cities area. All right, let's go back and see who's calling here. I'm going to flip over to the odds while we're at it. We were just trying to call Puerto Rico a little bit, but not working out. Take a look and see if I was being covered up here. No, I'm pretty in the clear where I'm at. We're going to hold and just wait. We're just receiving. We're not doing any transmitting right now for a second. And we're just going to wait and hold and see what comes through. Just kind of observe both sides of what's happening. Make sure that where I'm at is also clear. 7,200 is packed here, but it wouldn't be AM stations. For those U.S. stations that are here in the chat, that's a joke. They'll get it. 7,200 is a very, interesting frequency for us here. Who knows? Maybe you've heard it over your direction. We're going to try Puerto Rico again, KP4PMP. He's +7, but he's also almost a second out of sync. So, I don't know. We'll see. Man, 5T5PA, they're from Northwest Africa. It's just booming in now, +3. Monticello, all right, very good. Inverted V, nice. Hopefully, I said if you're doing well on 40 meter FT8, I'm guessing your inverted V is probably what? I'm gonna say 30 feet. That's my guess. Random guess. We'll see how close I am. I want to put up a 40 meter inverted V this winter as well. I have a tree picked out for it even. Ah, 2 meters. Oh, and 80 meters. Nice. Yeah, 80 meters is fun. You know, like when you get down to 80 and 160 even, it's one of those, like when you get down to that level, it's like you just never know. It could be open up anywhere in the world, in the dark side, and like it's just fun in that way. Like you just never know. I mean, that's what's so fun about those. But my problem is I can do 75 and 80, but not great. My antenna is just not very big to do it well. It'll load up, but it's not very efficient. Nothing on 20 or 40 for me at the moment. Only 80. All right. And the other good thing about a 40 meter antenna, by the way, is that it typically also will load up and tune for 15, which is the one band that my antenna really stinks at, is 15. And that's a shame because 15 is a fun band. Oh, here's Hawaii coming in plus 10. Let's nab them. And they're synced up properly. All right. They're perfectly on the money with their time. Ian, I'm using what's often called a ZS6 BKW. It's a modified version of a G5RV. Basically, what the ZS6 does is it shortens up the top wires a little bit, and it lengthens the ladder line that feeds it. Another, I think it's like 10.5 feet, 10 feet. And by doing that, it makes it resonant across 5 bands on HF without a tuner. It does particularly well, and you don't need a tuner on 40, 20, 17, 12, and 10. Every other band, it'll work, but you're going to need an external tuner 10-to-1, something that can handle that kind of mismatch. And it gets not too great and efficient on 15. Doesn't work very well. 6, it'll work, but again, not great. Same thing with 75 and 80. It'll work, it'll load, but it's not spectacular. I would like to put up something for 75 and 80, just because, come on, Hawaii. Where'd you go? You're plus 10. Because I would love to be able to get more active with what's going on with 75 and 80 and just having some more of that fun nighttime stuff, especially because the winters here are so long and it can be so quiet out there, although I do live in a suburb, so it's not super quiet, but kind of quiet. I don't do the ladder line. I feel with coax, so I have 65 feet of LMR 400 on there. I also have a 1-to-1 on the end there to keep things in check here in the shack. So I said, yeah, it's not done with the ladder line. It's done with coax. I wish it was the ladder line for the efficiency's sake, but it's not. Another strong one coming through. Kilo Bravo 6 Charlie's at plus 13. That's more than strong enough. Let's hope it hangs in there. Let's try this out. Plus 13. And this right here is KB6C that we're trying to call. You can see just how strong his signal is. Nice and bright red here on the waterfall. Yeah, I was going to say, he was strong. He was very strong. I don't wonder if he flipped to the other side of the sync, because he was there like really strong. Yep, you do need to retune, that's right. All right, I'm still seeing this guy at about plus 5. You can see he's gotten a little bit weaker. See how he went from red to yellow there on the band scope right here? Here's when he first came in. Now he's a little bit more yellow. You can just see that fading, how the band's kind of warbling back and forth in real time. Only 8 slots, Jimbo. Wow. Man, it must be busy out there. And N9 ATF, are you evens or odds? I'm curious. Here we go. Now we're picking up. All right, so this is out to SoCal. No surprise there. Again, they were booming yesterday, and I'm sure it'll be the same later on this afternoon. KB6C and SoCal at +8 for this one. Just move the map here for you guys so you can get a better look at it. All right, so we're getting a -1. I'll take it, given the conditions here this afternoon and how they've went down. No, no, no. Don't leave me hanging yet again. It's going into a second time. All right, you're on the odds too, just like me. Very good. Come on. Don't tell me you can go from +8 to being out. Don't tell me that 10 meters. That's crazy. Can't be that way. Come on back. Let's make this thing official. All right, there we go. There's the Roger 73 at a +0. Awesome. So that'll be one in the books for SoCal. Yeah, 73 Ian, thanks for stopping by, saying hello, and maybe we'll catch you out there. I'll be looking for you with the ADX there in your call sign. So thanks for stopping by, saying hi, and have a great weekend. Not weekend. Wait a minute, it's Monday. We just had a weekend. Have a great Tuesday. All right, we got Puerto Rico coming in at +14, KP4POL. Only at 0.3 off on the sync, so this should be all right. We'll give this one a shot. All right, come on. Come on, Puerto Rico. +14. And that's the thing people also don't get sometimes, I think, is that just because you're hearing a station strong, right? Like this station here, we're trying in Puerto Rico at +14, doesn't mean that you're going to be +14 or close to it the other way. Propagation is not always bidirectional. It can be one way, where you're hearing all kinds of stuff, but nobody's hearing you. I mean, that is totally a thing. In fact, we're probably experiencing a little bit of that right now. They might be finishing up with somebody, though. Puerto Rico's coming in big time now. We got multiple PR stations. But yeah, it's not always bidirectional. There are definitely days you'll come on and you'll hear a ton of stuff, but nobody can hear you. And there'll be other times where you're getting a ton of 5-9 reports and you can barely hear anybody. That does happen. Some people get a little confused by that. They think that just because you can hear somebody strong, that they must be able to hear you strong. And that's just not always the case. Yeah, no problem, Phil. 62 stations active in the UK on 80 meters right now. Wow. Apparently, Monday night, 80 meters is a place to be over there. Although I think 80 meters over there would be fun, because you guys can work DX like crazy, just overall in general. Because you guys are, like, when we say states, that's like the size of many of the countries that are overseas. Yeah, come on, let's get this going. He's still coming in strong, but he's just finishing up with somebody. Hopefully I'm second in line here, so we'll keep her going. He's still coming in about +11. Again, if you're new to FT8, or just, there we go, finally, minus 24. This is a perfect example, folks. Plus 15, he's coming in. I'm minus 24. I'm literally on the razor's edge of him being able to hear me. A great example of completely differing experiences on either side of this conversation here, or this contact. I mean, he's blowing my doors off here, but he can barely hear me. So again, it's not bidirectional as you'd expect. So you can see that he's coming back in the red with minus 24. That's my signal report. And I'm giving him a plus 11 to a plus 15. Fingers crossed that he can hear me. And if you're curious to what I'm running here for my setup, you can go to my QRZ profile. There we go. There's a 73. We got it in the books. You can go to my QRZ profile, K0LWC, and I have pictures of the wire that I run, as well as a shack picture, although it's changed a little bit. I got 4 screens and not 2, and it's about the same, though. And nothing different hardware-wise. So if you're curious of the antenna setup and want to see what I'm using, it's on my profile. And again, it's that CS6BKW, and I have pictures of it. It's a sloper. It's as high as 65 feet on one side, on the northwest side, and as low as 30 on the southeastern side. It slopes northwest to southeast from 65 feet to 30 feet. The center conductor is about 42 to 45 feet or so, depending on how taut I'm pulling that wire. All right, so we nab Puerto Rico, KP4POL. Let's see who else is out there. Still a lot of Puerto Ricos. Still a bunch of them in there. All right, let's pull up the roster and see. All right, both of these Puerto Ricos I have still yet to grab. Let's try KP4NIN. If I was on phone, that would be KP4 9-inch nails, by the way. That's what I'd call that guy. Hoping we can get this NIN here. Does anybody have a favorite FT8 contact? One of your most memorable FT8 contacts? Some people might scoff at that and say, well, what's memorable about your computer making a contact? Still, a contact is a contact. My RF is getting to a certain part of the world and vice versa. Do any of you that are out there, drop a comment. Do you have a favorite FT8 content that you've made, like to a certain country? Maybe it was a de-expedition, a special event station. Is there something that sticks out in your mind? Drop a comment. Tell me what it is. I kind of gave mine away earlier, although that wasn't an FT8 contact. That was a phone contact from a while ago. I mean, if you want FT8 for me, what mine would be, I would say Middle East is always that way for me. Middle East, I'm always jacked about getting because it's kind of tough for me to get that. That or like interior mainland China or Mongolia. Those are probably my 2 most memorable ones to this point, because they're just really difficult for me. Japan's easy. Australia, New Zealand, easy because my antenna is northeast, southwest. So EU and then down in the South Pacific are great for me. But it's harder for me to hit Indonesia, China, Thailand. Thailand is also a good one for me. But I'd probably say like interior central China and Mongolia, which are kind of the same thing. Those are probably my memorable, most exciting ones where I was like jacked up that I got them. But what about you guys? Awesome. Yeah. Indonesia, absolutely. That one's always a fun one. I love getting Indonesia. It's just tough. It's probably just about as much as the other side of the world as you can get for Minnesota, I think. I had to look on the globe to confirm that, but it's like purely the other side of the world. That one's fun. 3D2AG. Why does that sound familiar? What is that? Remind me what that is. That's not off the coast of Madagascar, is it? That's not Reunion Island, is it? What is 3D2AG? Yeah, conditions are getting worse. We're about S4 now here for signal strength on FT8. Fiji. Okay, I was going to say, it does sound familiar. I have gotten Fiji before. I think there's only like a couple operators on Fiji. But yeah, I do get them quite a bit. Only, again, because my antenna is broadsided southwest. So I do pretty well when conditions are right to get into like Fiji or any of those islands down there off the coast of Australia, New Zealand, etc. I still want to get like Bali, and I don't think I've gotten America Samoa yet. I don't think I've gotten them yet. And that's the tricky part about those islands is like you really don't know how many operators are on these islands. A lot of them are really tiny and small. There's not a lot of hams out there. It's like there's one station, maybe two. And it's like, how often do they get on the radio, you know? Those kind of things. All right, let's try to go after this Argentina here. Call sign is LU7IAC. All right, so Argentina is another good one for me. I typically get them quite a bit, actually. All right, let me go back to my map here so you guys can get a better look. Dismiss this. So he must be right here. Yep, there he is. All right, nothing yet. Fingers crossed. But 10 meters is kind of dying out. How are things in Illinois with 10 meters right now? Because they are definitely on the downslide, according to what's happening here in Minnesota, at least. Yeah, see, now we're already down to S1. It was S7, S9 just a few hours ago. Now it's S1. There's a Venezuela. It's the first one I've seen a Venezuela come through. A YW200BC. VP8 ADR Falcon Islands. Oh, yeah, that'd be a good one. Falcon Islands are always awesome. Argentina's a minus 24. Yeah, I got him at minus 13. I'm hoping. But again, this is where the clock sync becomes so important. He's minus 0.9 off on his sync. So it's going to be difficult. That's where, and I said, if you're looking for a good program to do your clock syncs that's external to the computer, the one I recommend is called, let me see, what do I use? It's called BKT Time Sync. BKT, Bravo Kilo Tango Time Sync. It's a little tiny app on your computer. You run it, bing, done, easy, takes 2 seconds. Works phenomenally, as it should, because it's about the easiest program you can imagine. Brazil, minus 20 to minus 15. I got him about minus 12 to minus 13 is what I'm seeing Brazil at. One station was minus 17 a few back. I'm going to go to calling CQ here. I've been trying to kind of hunt and find stations. We're going to go CQ. But yeah, conditions are definitely sliding backwards. There's no question about that. You can even see it on the scope. If you take a look at the waterfall here, see down here how everything was stronger, and then now look on the top and see how everything got weaker. You can actually visualize and see that band shift and change, and it might be closing up here from the looks of it. I mean, things are getting really, really quiet really fast. I mean, I'm down to like S0, S1, just barely breaking through. I'm just getting audio, no actual measured signal right now. And again, the waterfall shows the whole story. Conditions are changing fast. All right, let's see what's coming through here. Yeah, we're getting down to almost nothing. Taking a look at the PSK reporter here. Same story. And I think we're watching 10 meters literally die out in front of our eyes. I mean, I can barely hear signals now. I'm getting maybe 2 decodes now at a time. When it was open before, I was getting 20 to 35. So it's good for you still in Illinois. Interesting. Am I that far out of sync with my video now? Is it that messed up from what I can see on my end? Oh man, you guys are lucky. Hopefully it's not going to close for you from north to south, because it is struggling here right now. All right, still calling CQ. Oh man, Jason, good to see you. Still S7, S9. You guys are lucky, because it is not doing well for us right now. It is going down hard. I mean, you can see how that waterfall has changed, and now I'm only being heard like regionally, and then in SoCal and West Texas, and that's about it. Yeah, SoCal right now is about what I'm getting. That's all I'm getting, really. There's a few exceptions to that, but it's mostly SoCal where I'm being heard at. Yeah, it's like Iowa, Missouri, West Texas, a handful in SoCal. I'm getting New Zealand. I'm getting heard in New Zealand, minus 23 and minus 6. Hawaii, I'm minus 16. A couple in South America. But it's all inconsistent. You can just see how the waterfall has changed in the last even 5 minutes, guys. Just look at how different that looks now compared to what it was when you guys first joined the stream. I'll go ahead and share my my browser here so you can see where I'm being heard at. And if you've never used PSK Reporter, I'm assuming all of you have, because it's one of the best tools there is for FT8. It's a must-have, a must-bookmark. All right, let me go ahead and bring up PSK Reporter here. So this is where I'm being heard at right now. Every bright pink bubble with a timestamp is where I'm being heard and how many minutes ago I was heard. And I'm calling CQ. So you can see it's like SoCal, there's a pocket right down this vein from like Kansas, Iowa, which is super short. West Texas, looks like way down here to WP4, WW, out to Hawaii, out west, and then also back down to New Zealand. I'm getting really weak. I can't hear them at all, though. Again, back to this idea of one-way propagation. I'm being heard in New Zealand, but I cannot hear them at all. So, I mean, this is vastly different than it was. There is no question that things are rapidly changing. I mean, just look at that waterfall. I mean, there's no wonder that I'm just calling CQ and basically hearing nothing, and I'm barely decoding anything. I'm getting about 5 decodes per cycle. What are you guys getting for decodes per cycle now? Let me know. Jason, N9ATF, let me know what you're getting. I don't know how to pronounce it. Let's go fungi. I'm going to say fungi. 331. Let me know how many decodes roughly you're getting per cycle. And again, this is why it's such a great learning tool for propagation, stuff like this. Twelve to 14 in VA, 25 to 30. I'd love to have 25 to 30. What's going on, Todd? Yeah, earlier today was much better. It's closing up shop here now. It's fluctuating wildly from what it was, Todd. 25 to 30. Yeah, I mean, I was getting 25 to 30, and now we're down to 3 to 5, 5 on a good cycle, 2 to 3 on some, which is wild. And again, if you guys had not, I'm going to bring up this tweet in case you guys hadn't seen it. I'll bring up my window one more time. This is where I'm being heard here in the last 15. I'm going to go ahead and refresh it as well. Again, it's really starting to favor SoCal, which it has been. Hawaii, I just got a minute ago. I'm not hearing them, though. They may not be on the air. Because you got to remember, you could be heard somewhere, but that person may just have their radio turned on. They're not actually operating and transmitting. So you're being decoded, but they're not actually on the air. New Zealand, I'm still being heard in the last few minutes. A little bit down to South America, Chile here. 9 minutes ago at minus 19. So this is what my map looks like. Again, very different from even just at around 1 o'clock. Looks vastly different. Can't get your G90 to transmit. Well, that's not good. The website that I'm going to is pskreporter.info. PSK Papa Sierra Kilo reporter.info. And you can put in a call sign up here. Obviously, it's my call sign here. And then you can choose modes like FT8, FT4, JS8, CW, all different kinds of stuff. What time frame you want listed here, 15 minutes, 24 hours, 12 hours, 6 hours, etc. And then you can do sent or receive by, or just sent or receive. So, and then click go, and then it will show you, based on the reporting in the Beacon network, where I'm being decoded and who I'm hearing on my end as well, depending on how I want to set up that search. So again, that's pskreporter.info. Oh, a hex beam at 50 feet. Nick, tell me how you like it, because that's going to be my springtime project when the snow melts here in Minnesota. I want to put up a hex beam at about 35, 40 feet or so. So I'm curious to what you think of your hex beam there, Nick. Man, look at that waterfall. Yeah, you can absolutely put in someone else's call sign. It doesn't have to be your own. You can put in any call sign you want. So like if I wanted to choose this Hawaii station right here, WH6EY, let's just see what he's up to. Actually, let me take that back. I want to choose someone I know is transmitting. WB4WW out of down in the Caribbean there. WP4WW. So let's put him in for the last 10 minutes, and let's take a look at where he's getting out to. I guarantee you it's going to look different. Here is WP4WW. He's just hammering up and down the East Coast with signals. So you can see from where he's at down there in Puerto Rico, he is just booming in to put it back. There we go. He's just booming into the East Coast here. So again, he's down here in the PR, and this is where the vast majority of his signals are being heard, is right in this little half moon shape here on the East Coast. And, I'd call that the far east Midwest. Is that a thing? And then up and down the eastern seaboard. Although Florida's too close, it looks like, for him. Nothing in Florida. He's skipping right over them. It starts right around South Carolina over to Oklahoma, and then you got to be north and east, and he's just booming that direction. So that's, again, this is me putting in the call sign WP4WW. So you can see anyone's information, just like Jason said. The snow has melted that we had earlier because we had tornadoes a week ago. We had 8 inches that went down to almost nothing, pretty much nothing. And then we got about 2 inches on the ground now from some recent light snow showers we've had. Holy smokes, 8 years, wow. Yeah, I said I'm looking forward to it. I wanted something with a little bit more gain, a little bit more directivity to it, so I'm looking forward to getting it on the air. I just got to figure out what kind of mast to put it on. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Again, it's the tools like this PSK reporter is what makes this mode so great for new hams, because it teaches you all different kinds of stuff. Again, like how propagation changes, shifts, goes away, fades in, fades out, band to band, day to day, time of day. To be able to visually see it is so helpful for new hams. That's why I think that the people that just hate on FT8 for no reason, I just don't think it makes much sense, because it's really, really helpful for, I think, any ham, honestly, but especially newer hams, to learn that and be able to see it like that. I still learn stuff all the time. All right, I wanted to show you, I had mentioned that one of the things that was getting a lot of attention was this tweet about FT8. It definitely seemed to resonate with a lot of people. We'll share a couple other things here, since 10 meters is all just about closed up, it seems, which is unfortunate. Let me open this up. Where did my tweet go here? Let me refresh it. It just seemed to resonate with a lot of people that operate FT8 out there, because there's always a back and forth about people that, I don't know why, unnecessarily just hate on FT8 for no reason. I don't know why they do, but they do. Here we go. Here is a tweet that generally got, quite a bit of response here. So it says, yes, I operate FT8. No, I don't care how that makes you feel. It's radio. Get over it. Pretty simple. 141 likes, 10 retweets, and some quote tweets as well. There's a lot of great discussion here. Mike, K0LWC, says, my name's Mike and I'm an FT8 operator. That was funny. Haters gonna hate. But there are people like up here, MIT was like, he doesn't understand the vitriol with it. He's like, I don't like it, I don't do it, but I don't dislike, I don't hate on it, which is the part that I just don't understand. Nick, he bought a military crank-up mask. That's what I'd like to get. I want a crank-up. I want to be able to easily work with it for sure. Whatever it is, got to be easily accessible. I like this guy. Flat Earth Farmer. I hear that Bitcoin can be sent over FT8. This right here. That's funny. Yeah, they're just, it got a lot of conversation going. So I said, make sure you check that out over on FT8 if you, or not FT8, on Twitter if you haven't yet. Again, I'm at K0LWC on Twitter. So you can go check that out and add your voice if you want, if you're on Twitter, to that discussion, because it definitely got people talking, to say the least. But look at their waterfall, guys. It's quiet. It's gone away. The conditions have just faded away into the ether. And they were really strong for a good 2 to 3 hour window, and now they're just kaput. But, that's propagation for you. What are you going to do? So we'll end the live stream. So thanks so much for hanging out, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for riding shotgun here as I got my work done on this PowerPoint presentation for work, and did a little FT8 there on the side. So appreciate it. Have a great rest of your week. I'm definitely going to try to be live streaming more this week just because, I said we're going into the holidays. It's a time for me to focus on, getting things cleaned up for the year at work. So I have some more time to just do FT8, on another computer screen over here. So it just works out that way. So thanks so much, guys. Again, go check out the Twitter account at K0LWC or Instagram at K0LWC on Instagram as well. And we'll see you in a later live stream sometime this week, guys. Check out my QRZ for the antenna. It's on my QRZ profile. It is a ZS6 BKW dipole, though. So thanks so much.